Cool guys. So I'm just going to talk about a little bit of speech about kind of running, nutrition, how it kind of works together, a little bit of the meditative sides of it, and then how the food and nutrition integrated what it is to be healthy. So when you think about running, we just want you to think about kind of the metronome step by step. When you're running a long way, it can nearly just be completely in sync with your body. The feeling's really amazing. You feel the stillness in the air. You really feel that environment, and you're really going to kind of get in touch with your inner self there. So when you're kind of running a long distance, it kind of nearly becomes a meditation in the art, because you feel real still and in sync, and after a while you don't even feel tired, believe it or not. And that also comes down to feeding the body as you run a little bit. So a little bit about myself and my experience in running. So I have done quite a few marathons now. 10 marathons and a PB of 2:57. What's going around about 14.2 k's now, I think. So it's a pretty quick flick. I've done a couple 50k runs with a PB of 3 hours 33. So you basically run a marathon sub 3 hours and keep going at the same pace, just for the hell of it. My first marathon was a 3:56, so I've nearly dropped my marathon time an hour, and I think nutrition's been a huge part of that. And basically, the more and more plant-based I went along the way, the faster I got, the leaner I got, and the faster my recovery. And since I turned vegan, I PB'd in all my marathons, and I've won the 100k. So it's definitely helped my performance. Education-wise, I have a public health degree in health and wellness. I have certificates in fitness and outdoor recreation, and I'm about to graduate in the graduate diploma in nutrition. So hopefully I know what I'm talking about.
We all do.
Where are you doing your diploma in nutrition?
CPRT ARA. Yeah. So I'll bring you back to how I kind of got started running in the first place. So my first run was actually the City to Surf in Christchurch, what kind of goes from the cathedral out to Kiwi 2 at the time. We can't really kind of do that run anymore since the earthquake. But that was a really amazing experience for me, because the thing about running is, unlike any other sport, you're really kind of running against yourself. So it doesn't matter if you're good, it doesn't matter if you're bad, but the point is just kind of reach that destination. So you have a lot of time in your training, and then on the day, when you make it, you kind of feel that feeling of personal satisfaction, that you've achieved your personal best, and it's not about what everyone else is doing. If someone comes in half an hour behind, they got their personal best. It's all just about that destination and challenging yourself. That's why running is probably arguably one of the best sports in the world. Arguably. So I ran a little bit through high school, but at that point, because I wasn't actually very fast, I was not slow, but somewhere in the middle. But my main sport was football, and that's kind of what kind of took my time. But then when I was 16, unfortunately I dislocated my patella. What, for you that don't know, is a kneecap. Very painful and very depressing. So that basically meant I couldn't run anymore or play football. And I was on crutches basically for straight 6 months, and then I had another kind of 6 months of rehab. 4 days or better, and then I dislocated my patella again. So back on the crutches, back in rehab, and then basically again couldn't play any sports. It's like, oh my god. About 2 years later, and 4 days or better, and you guess that, third time, dislocated my patella. I was seriously pissed, right? But it did mean one thing. It meant basically because I'd done it 3 times, I could get surgery. So I actually had some hope that it would get fixed and it wouldn't happen again. So I was really down there, and I was like, right, once I can walk, I'm going to run, and once I'm going to run, I'm going to run a marathon. 13 months later, I completed my first marathon at the age of 19. There's some photos there. That's me crossing the line. just completely buggered. But I literally basically went from scratch in 2008 after surgery. All the muscle had broken down in my right leg. I still don't quite have as much muscle in my right leg as my left leg. The strength is pretty similar, but I still get a few issues with my knees. But yeah, basically within 12 months from scratch, I was able to run a marathon. So I was pretty pleased with that. Such an amazing experience, and I encourage all of you to set some kind of goal that's way outside your comfort zone, because when you achieve it, you really just kind of question yourself, well, if I can do that, what else can I do? So this is probably one of my favourite marathons. This is the Bullet Gorge Marathon. And I ran 3 hours 9 in that one. The reason I bring that one up is that was kind of a transition period of just getting a bit more whole plant foods into my diet and changing my running style a bit. And I actually ended up bringing my time within about a year to 309. And that was just moving more towards a plant-based diet, but I wasn't even completely vegan at that time. Still not as lean as I am now, for sure. And this is the big one. About 3 weeks ago, I ran the 100-kilometre Naseby ultra marathon. So yes, I did run 100 k's non-stop. And I have this one to thank for, because she was going to run it, and I was like, oh, I can probably do that too. For others, I would probably recommend a thorough training program, and not kind of winging it 3 weeks before.
Still beat you though, Jaden.
What's that?
Still caned you.
Oh, we'll have to do another one.
We'll have to have another race.
I'm
sorry, I'm not trying to take you down. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm probably going to do the 100 miles next year, so that Shannon's going to do that with me, and we're going to have a standoff.
We'll run it together.
No,
I'll be swearing at you by the end.
You're going to be way behind me. So that's cool, and I'm definitely confident that my nutrition helped me on that day, because I didn't really feel that tired till probably about 90k. What was? Yeah, you should. I think you probably should be quite tired after 90k. So a few of you might be thinking, what is nutrition? So I'll kind of break it down into kind of 4 things. First, it's your fuel. It's your fuel for your body, it's your fuel for the brain, it's your fuel for your life. Our body basically completely rebuilds itself about every 7 years. So if you're not putting the right food in, it's not going to rebuild itself fast enough. It's going to feel fatigued, it's going to feel tired, you're not going to be able to concentrate, you're not going to be able to sleep well, you're going to get aches, you're going to get pains. Basically, nutrition is life. Without good food, you're not going to do well. And that also links in with immune protection. Fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, really high in antioxidants, great for the gut. This is what keeps our body well and fights the disease. So if you don't eat enough healthy foods, when you get sick, your immune system doesn't fire up, and you get sick for really long amounts of time. But you'll all hear those people that was like, I'm sick, too excited, oh, I'm sick again, I got a headache. That's all related to food. A normal healthy body doesn't happen. You wake up generally quite fresh, you have a lot of energy, you can work all day and then go out for a 20k run. Maybe not always, but with the right nutrition, it's completely possible. The next thing is, of course, enjoyment. We all love food and we all love to eat. The thing about enjoyment, though, is these days we know how to science food and basically trick a neuro system. So if we put fat, sugar and salt in the same food, it becomes an addictive substance that our body will just keep craving. So if you eat too much of those foods, your body will keep craving them, and you basically end up addicted to fast food. But if you separate the things, just have the fat and sugar without the salt, or the salt and carbs is far less addictive, you can probably get away with it, and it'll still taste really good. And the last thing, as I'll say, is nutrients over calories. So basically, a nutrient is something that helps the body. So the most nutritious foods in the world are wild edible greens. followed by greens, and then followed by fruit and veggies, then followed by probably legumes, and nuts and seeds, then all the way down, and then kind of your wheat and your grains, and then down the bottom kind of like meat, oils, sugar. So we want to eat foods that are the most nutrient dense with the least calories. Eat too many high calorie foods without enough nutrients, and you're not going to feel healthy.
Yeah. And also, I think just eat real food. You know, like if it's out of a packet, don't eat it because it's highly processed. I mean, even things like muesli bars or muesli, you know, they are very processed. But you going to the farmers markets, like heaps of those spinach, courgettes, you know, all those vegetables are really like a staple thing. You know, just eat real food. I sort of think that's always, you know, a good way. And
Definitely, and that's the big difference between being vegan and a whole food plant-based vegan. It's really the whole foods that makes the biggest picture. So, how did I become so obsessed with nutrition? My girlfriend will probably tell you that I literally just spend hours online reading scientific journals in my spare time for fun. So it was probably not the normal thing to do on a Sunday night, but it does, it does happen, and I'll come home and I'll be like, oh, I read this great scientific journal on the microbiome, and John will be like, wonder which One Tree Hill? But it is really fascinating, and I kind of remember after my first year studying health and wellness, I actually went to Vietnam and Thailand, Singapore, kind of throughout Southeast Asia. And within that first year, I kind of learned that we can kind of prevent a few of these problems: osteoporosis, arthritis, cardiovascular disease, diabetes. But it's not until you really see it for yourself that you actually kind of really see what is possible. All over Vietnam, you'll see 60, 70, 80-year-old women just carrying like 20, 40 kilos of fruit on their back and just selling it all day. Because they eat a whole food, plant-based diet, they're able to do that. And basically, we can do the same if we stick to these whole plant-based foods. So I was actually Googling, I was like, I felt so amazing on this Vietnamese diet. I wonder what the oldest person in Vietnam was. And I found this lady here, lived 123 years old in Vietnam. She just died this year, but 123 years, and that's certified by Guinness Book of Records. And yeah, whole foods, plant-based, mainly literally 90% carbohydrates, about 5% fat and 5% protein was the macros there. So you can really just think like the power that we don't need a huge amount of fats or protein. Our body loves nutrient-dense carbohydrate foods like starchy potatoes.
can I just ask you a question about the whole fat thing? Like avocados, for example, are really good fats.
Yes.
And nuts are good fats as well. And both of them are high in calories. Do you think you can eat too much of good fats, like too many avocados kind of thing?
Well, it really depends what you're kind of training for. For example, if I was a bodybuilder, I'd probably go more slightly towards the higher fat side of it.
Okay.
And that would be because fats increase testosterone, so you kind of get more kind of muscle mass. But at the same time, too much fat will inhibit your utilization of carbohydrates. So if you're a runner and you need fast carbohydrate breakdown, having too much fat is not going to be really beneficial there. Also, you get why nuts, seeds, avocados are pretty good. When we kind of reverse heart disease, we've only been able to do that on a diet of about 10% fat. So we have to kind of, if you have heart disease, I would say no, skip the avocado. But if you don't have heart disease, the nuts and avocado increases the HDL and lowers your LDL generally. So pretty healthy and probably fine in your diet. So looking at kind of the healthiest populations in the world, kind of what do they eat? So there's a guy called Dan Buettner.